agIdeas was the very first conference that I attended as a design student. In fact, it was the inaugural event back in 1991. And I remember I flew over with a heap of people from WA for a week of inspiration. Now, not only did I return inspired by the speakers that I heard, but also from the studios that I visited. And it was around that time that I decided as a designer that I needed to move to Melbourne, which I did in the early 2000s. Deloitte is a science, right? They're analytical, they're data-driven, and they're industry-focused. They're all about helping their clients with their biggest business problems. And often, it has transformation at the core. And that's exactly the same lens in which we view digital. Digital has the ability to transform businesses, period, full stop. But as all you guys know, it's different, right? You need a different mindset, you need a different approach, and you need to draw from a different talent pool. The very heart of Deloitte Digital is creative, it's UX, it's design, and technology. That's our core DNA. We're a studio-based model globally with an agile methodology at the core. So everything you need to go from zero to digital. So social, mobile, CRM, CMS, design, data, analytics. But that hook back to the big D, Deloitte, is really important, right? Because it's that combination of both art and science that we think is just not unique, but essential to take advantage of the full potential of digital. Why do we think design is so important for business? Well, who remembers these guys? Back in the days, we used to read books and we used to rent DVDs, but not anymore. These businesses both used to be great businesses, but like Kodak and BlackBerry and many, many more, they were all disrupted by digital. That is, that their products and services failed to keep up with the pace of change. And the reality is that 2/3 of Australian businesses are all currently undergoing digital disruption. And as designers, we're not immune, with art and recreation also featuring really high on that list. And we're seeing that through the likes of 99 Designs, Etsy, and of course 3D printing. But if we look at that through the right lens, we can view it as an opportunity rather than a threat. So I want to share with you now a few case studies of where we're helping our clients design for this disruption. This is for the Australian Defence Force, and the Defence Force have a really interesting workplace in that they're made up of permanent and reservist, but part-time, full-time employees. And they're geographically spread all across Australia and across the globe. Fundamentally, the Defence Force had problems understanding who their people were, where their people were, and what skills that they actually had. To provide communications, information, and a sense of community to these people, they were using commonly available and publicly known tools such as Facebook, Seek, and LinkedIn. But the problem was that those tools didn't have the security or governance that the Defence Force required, which resulted in a number of really high-profile social media incidents, which you could imagine how embarrassing that would have been for the Defence Force. So to work with this client, we really had to walk in their shoes, right? We had to understand their people. We had to understand their needs and wants and their current pain points to really identify the opportunities to improve it. To do this, not only did we work really closely with the client and their people, but we set up a multidisciplinary team from across both Deloitte and Deloitte Digital. So we had UX designers, ethnographic researchers, creative designers, technologists, and really importantly, we'd had HR experts, right? Because fundamentally, this was a HR-based issue. We also had a high-ranking ex-military person on our team, and that was really important because he understood their language. He understood their processes and their needs and wants, and that allowed us to design not just for the client's need, but also that of the users. So ForceNet is part Facebook and it's part LinkedIn, right? And it was designed intentionally for that because we wanted to increase the adoption and uptake of this tool, which really failed in previous attempts. It allows people to communicate in groups, so groups of like-minded people or groups of people that you work with, You can share stories, information, images, documents. You can create events, all the things you can do in Facebook, apart from the advertising and the stalking. But it's what's underneath the hood that's really important to the Defence Force, right? From the surface, we can look at this and say it's a social media platform, but it's so much more than that. Because if we go back and think about their original concerns, is they didn't know who their people were, they didn't know where their people were or what skills that they actually had. What sits underneath ForceNet is essentially this great big data analytical engine, right, that collects all this information and allows them to better understand their employees. It allows them to target them with communication and information to ensure that they get the right person at the right place with the right skills at the right time. Design is really big. Right? We have the ability to help businesses transform. To do that, we need to co-design. We need to co-design with our clients, and we need to co-design with their customers. We need to collaborate. We need to collaborate with people with different skill sets other than just our own, because you'd be amazed in what you can do. The other one is focus on simplicity, because sometimes things are easier, left simple. Test early, test often, and lastly, have some fun while you're doing it. Thank you.